Shabbat Shalom. When I first moved to the south, to Shreveport, I was moved by the ease with which people of all faith traditions make the request, please pray for me. I'd never experienced that before living in Los Angeles. It's not a phrase or a request that's tossed around. Each week here, we receive submissions to our incredibly lengthy Mishaberach list, and people really do notice when a name is accidentally misspelled or left out. In Parashat Bo, as Pharaoh is watching his kingdom reel in the aftermath of the death of Egypt's firstborn, he begs Moshe and Aharon as they begin to leave Egypt, Uverachtem gamoti, and bless me too. I may not be deserving, you may not like me very much, but please pray for my well-being as well. The 20th century Israeli commentator Moshe Kasuto points out the poetry of this biblical moment. Just as the first meeting between an Israelite and an Egyptian king involves blessing, as is the case of Yaakov, of Jacob, when he moves to Egypt, so too the last meeting of an Israelite and an Egyptian king ends in blessing. Through the requests of both pharaohs, Yaakov, Moshe, and Aharon are all reminded to fulfill the command and prophecy given to Avram so long ago, that all of the families of the earth shall be blessed by you. With Kasuto's poetic interpretation, we are a people who carry the responsibility and the destiny to bless others. And of course we do. We say a prayer for our country and the state of Israel every week, even knowing that regardless of who is in power in either place, a good segment of our congregation will not be a fan for the people for whom we are praying. We say a prayer for peace, placing our anger towards those who have hurt us aside in favor of a future in which no one is harmed. With much more joy and ease, we bless those with birthdays and anniversaries, as well as those who have retired or are starting something new and exciting. We pray that they may learn and grow in the time ahead. Our blessing fulfills a mitzvah and holds real transformative power. When we pray for others, we ask God to pay attention to them and to all those who are going through the same life circumstances or often the same trials as them. We ask God to help us to take stock of our own emotions in seeing others go through such extreme hardship or maybe even such extreme joy. On a deeper level, when we pray for others, we are reminding ourselves of their need for extra support or guidance. When we say a prayer for healing, for instance, we remind ourselves and others to check in on those for whom we pray. After almost every service, someone comes up to me asking what's going on with a new name that they recognized on the Mishaberach list and what they can do to help. When we pray for our country or for Israel, we remind ourselves to check the news, to keep supporting the causes that work towards the future that we want to see. When we pray out loud in front of the congregation, we let those we pray for know that they are not alone. Their God and their community are with them, ready to give comfort, encouragement, and advice for the road ahead. On Rosh Hashanah this year, if you stayed long enough to experience second day Musaf, I shared a story from Rabbi Eli Kaplan-Spitz's book, Does the Soul Survive? He writes of a friend whose wife experienced firsthand the power of personal directed prayer. About 10 years ago, he writes, my colleague's wife went into the hospital for routine surgery. Due to a surgical error, she developed a life-threatening blood infection coupled with pneumonia and other complications. The doctors gave her less than a 10% chance of survival. She had a tube inserted in her throat to aid her breathing, which prevented her from speaking. But when they finally removed her breathing tube, she said, while I was declining in strength and my pain was increasing, I became aware of all the prayers people were saying for me. I could actually hear their voices. The prayers formed a cocoon-like structure around me. Each prayer added to their enveloping support. So why is it, she asked, that our friends, the Weisses, weren't praying for me. What she could not have known was that the Weisses were in Europe around the time she went in for routine surgery. They did not know she had been gravely ill. I still have no way to explain her uncanny knowledge and the sense that words of prayer had kept her alive. Year after year, researchers create studies to show that prayer has real scientific impact towards healing, and year after year, results are mixed. And still, somehow, those who receive those prayers, or those of us who have received those prayers in the past, know firsthand the often intense, palpable power of knowing someone is rooting for them, someone is vying for their protection. So please, be that someone. Keep submitting names and ensuring that the Mishaberach list stays impossibly long. Please keep reminding the Gabbis and me on Saturday mornings when someone has a new job, a birthday, or an anniversary, so that we can pray for and celebrate them in the presence of our sacred Torah. In your own private lives, while you're sitting at home or walking on the way, b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech, find opportunities to fulfill God's mitzvah and make a tangible impact through prayer. This can be through the structured prayer that we have in our book, through singing Debbie Friedman's beautiful Mishaberach while you're at a stoplight, through just finding moments in the day in line at the supermarket or just when you need a breather or a break, to pray for words of blessing, both for those who are going through a positive, significant time in their life and those you know need a little bit of extra support and comfort. So now, as we will not have a chance to